ਗੁਰ ਸਿੱਖ ਮੀਤ ਚਲੋ ਗੁਰ ਚਾਲੀ ਗੁਰ ਸਿੱਖ ਮੀਤ ਚਲੋ ਗੁਰ ਚਾਲੀ ਗੁਰ ਸਿੱਖ ਮੀਤ ਚਲੋ ਗੁਰ ਚਾਲੀ ਗੁਰ ਸਿੱਖ
I have a restaurant that's named Tandoori Express. I invited my brother at my restaurant to have a cup of tea with me. When I got there, there was two young guys, white guys, and when I stepped ahead, one guy called me, "Give me my curtain." He pointed out my turban. I told him, no, this is not your curtain. This is my turban and it's religious. So they told me and my brothers, go to your country, go to your home. This is my country, I am American. This is my home too. They came together on me and started punch on me. Then Khalsa ji came in between, told them, hey, don't do this, leave him alone, leave him alone. But they never listen anything.
Khalsa says when he stepped in to explain the religious significance of the turbans, the men began to swing, dealing so many blows to his head. Khalsa received fractures to his nose and eye sockets.
American attacking on American. This is wrong.
He says the men made references to September 11th, although Sikhs are not Arabs or Muslims.
ਜੋ ਗੁਰ ਕਹੈ ਸੋਈ ਪਾਲ ਮਾਨੋ ਜੋ ਗੁਰ ਕਹੈ ਸੋਈ ਪਾਲ ਮਾਨੋ ਹਰ ਹਰ ਕਥਾ ਨਿਰਾਲੀ ਗੁਰ ਸਿੱਖ
This Dastaar is one of the most prominent symbols of the Sikh faith. But out of all religious faiths, Sikhism is the only one that requires people to wear turbans. No other religion in the world requires it. After September 11th, the Sikh identity was really something that was attacked, encountering so much discrimination and hate because of that symbol.
In effect, we'd been attacked twice, once by the terrorists and then by fellow Americans.
Our articles of faith require us to stand out, require us to not hide our core values. What is bothersome, though, is when people are forced to abandon their faith, not by choice, but because of an environment that is unfriendly to our belief system.
What can we do? What would actually make a difference for...
The Sikh Coalition was formed specifically to address the civil and human rights issues that the Sikh community faced after 9/11. The way we look became an issue for society that we then had to address.
Since I was fired from the police department, I felt very, insecure that of the workforce. It was very hard for me. I don't know what I would have to do in order to put food on the table. When you're ridiculed and you're discriminated against, you feel like you're inhuman. You feel different, and you want to feel the same. Even though I was born and raised here, I felt like this wasn't my country. I'm a very proud Sikh. I feel very strongly of it, and there's no shame in it.
Sikhism originated over 500 years ago in the Punjab region of South Asia. Sikhism rejected the caste system, idolatry, and other ritualistic practices, believing that there's one God and everyone on this earth is equal. Well, when a Sikh man or woman dons the Dastaar, it becomes a part of their heaven. It is an intrinsic part of who Sikhs are. It distinguishes one as a follower of the faith. I can't hide who I am. I'm a Sikh because I wear a turban. I am identified as a Sikh.
Every day in the morning when I tie it and put it on my head, it served as a reminder of what I believed in, the intrinsic values of helping others, of believing in God, of doing good deeds. Just the sheer act of tying the cloth around my head and feeling like it was a part of who I was really helped serve as a reminder to me on what my spiritual path was.
Around the end of the month of May of 2004, one of the superintendents of the subway line that I work for called me up and started to ask why I wear a turban. I've been wearing a turban for 23 years and as a train operator for 20. He told me that he no longer was going to allow me to work in passenger service and that I had to work in the railway yard where I'll make considerably less money and not have the flexibility that I have now. I mean, they could have investigated and found out that I was a member of a bona fide religion with tens of millions of members in the world and people working in all different levels and capacities throughout the world, but they didn't.
The Sikhs always have known that anytime there's any terrorism associated with Muslims or Arabs, our community always has felt the backlash, and that goes back more than 20 years in this country. In India, the Sikhs are looked upon as people who you can trust, who will stand up for justice, who are the people who are the defenders of righteousness. And then over here, the turban will be identified as basically with terrorism, Osama bin Laden, and the Taliban. How do I stop the media every single time there's a terrorist act and that's the only association people ever see on TV when they see a turban and beard? How do I change the opinions of, 300 million Americans?
Every single minority community throughout American history has had to fight for its place as members that are recognized as integral to the fabric of American society. And this is the Sikh community struggle to do the same thing. For example, after Rajinder Singh Khalsa was beat up and we were really unhappy with the way the police were handling the matter, we held a huge rally outside the police precinct where we were protesting and demanding that this thing be taken seriously and the police find the other people who hurt him. And the media covered it, and that put a lot of pressure on the police, and the police really did take the case much more seriously. At the end of it, we were extremely happy with the way they dealt with the situation. But that would have never happened if we hadn't made sure that the media and the public got involved and were informed about it.
Litigation in the Sikh community is unlike litigation in any other community I can think of, because what we're doing for the judges beyond arguing the law, we're giving a little mini history and religion lesson. Our brief we submitted to the court in the NYPD case was 151 pages. A good 30 of those pages was background on Sikhism, history of Sikhs. I mean, we had to sort of give the courts that background knowledge, because how can you apply law against a group who you don't understand?
They just issued me my new ID, and I had to swipe the card, and I felt really good doing that, for the first time after my experience with this whole discrimination against Sikhs. It's just mind-boggling. Your religious beliefs could put a barrier between you and the city that you would want to work for.
We've been compelled to become more civically engaged, to address government policymakers, to ensure that we truly can be part of the American fabric.
After September 11th, there has been a backlash against Arabs, Muslims, Sikhs, happening right here in New York. We're committed to introduce this package and to see that it passes to protect all New Yorkers against hate crimes. I am also introducing a bill aimed at fighting the discrimination that is occurring in our city's public agencies. It would basically prohibit discrimination for religious attire in any of the uniform agencies.
We expect to live in a New York where people are judged by their ability to do their job in any city agency, not on the basis of their appearance, not on the basis of their religion.
when this happened, I didn't understand a lot about your culture. There's a lot of us out there that don't understand, and I think this is a good way about going to get the message across and for us to have a better understanding, and that's about it. Thank you for having me here.
The need for this work is greater now than ever. Right? The average American still doesn't know who Sikhs are, and we certainly have a long way to go towards educating society.
If people will be educated in the world more and more, they will know this religion is peaceful. They should know why we have the turban. The message should be for unity. You live peacefully and let others live peacefully.